When women cheat, they don't just betray you physically. They manipulate you psychologically to keep you from seeing what's happening. They use specific phrases designed to make you doubt your instincts, feel guilty for questioning them, and accept explanations that don't add up. I'm about to break down the 5 most common things cheating women say, and show you exactly why each phrase is a red flag. By the end of this, you'll understand the manipulation tactics and won't fall for them again. Thing number 1. You're being insecure and controlling. This is the nuclear weapon of manipulation. When you notice something off and ask about it, instead of addressing your concern directly, she flips the script and makes you the problem. Suddenly you're not someone with legitimate questions. You're insecure, jealous, and controlling. Here's why this works. Most men are afraid of being seen as insecure. Masculinity is tied to confidence. So when she labels your concerns as insecurity, you back off to avoid seeming weak. She's weaponizing your fear of appearing weak against you. But here's the truth. Noticing patterns isn't insecurity. Asking questions isn't controlling. When someone you're in a relationship with changes their behavior dramatically and then gets defensive when you notice, that's suspicious. Your gut instinct isn't insecurity. It's pattern recognition. If someone is consistently putting you down for having reasonable concerns, they're either manipulating you to hide something or they're so emotionally immature that they can't handle normal relationship communication. Either way, it's a problem. The appropriate response to genuine concern is explanation and reassurance, not attack. When your question is met with "you're being controlling," the correct response is actually "I'm asking about specific behaviors that changed." If asking questions makes me controlling, then normal relationships are impossible. Thing number 2. We're just friends, don't you trust me? This phrase turns your legitimate concern into a test of whether you're a good partner. She's not answering the question about why she's spending unusual amounts of time with another man. She's making you feel guilty for asking. Here's how this manipulation works. She takes the focus off her questionable behavior and puts it on your character. If you press the issue, you're demonstrating that you don't trust her, which makes you the bad guy. If you back off, she gets to continue the behavior without accountability. But trust isn't blind belief. Trust is earned through consistent behavior and transparency. When behavior changes dramatically, trust appropriately adjusts. If she's suddenly texting someone constantly, changing plans to see them, being secretive about conversations, that's not just friends. That's emotional affair territory at minimum. The correct response to this manipulation is trust is built on transparency. If you want me to trust you, be open about the friendship. Let me meet this person. Don't hide conversations. Don't hide conversations. Don't get defensive when I ask questions. Trust works both ways. If she's actually just friends with someone, she'll be happy to show you there's nothing to worry about. If she's defensive and secretive, your concern is valid regardless of whether she labels it a trust issue. Thing number 3. You're overreacting. It wasn't like that at all. This is gaslighting. You saw or heard something that concerns you. Maybe you saw flirty texts. Maybe you noticed her lying about where she was. Maybe someone told you they saw her with another man. When you bring it up, she tells you you're misinterpreting, overreacting, or remembering wrong. This manipulation works by making you doubt your own perception. If she's confident enough in her version of events, you start questioning what you saw. Maybe I did overreact. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe I'm being crazy. But here's the reality. Your perception is data. If you saw flirty texts, they were flirty. If she lied about her location, she lied. If someone saw her with another man, that happened. Her explanation doesn't erase what occurred. It just offers context. The correct response is, I'm not overreacting. I'm reacting to what actually happened. Let's talk about the specific thing I saw rather than my reaction to it. This forces her to address the actual behavior instead of critiquing your response. If someone is more focused on telling you your reaction is wrong than on explaining their behavior, they're avoiding accountability. That avoidance is the actual problem, not your reaction. Thing number 4. I need space to figure out what I want. This phrase sounds reasonable on the surface. People do need space sometimes to think about relationships. But, in the context of suspected cheating, this is often a way to keep you on hold while she explores other options. Here's what's usually happening. She's interested in someone else, but isn't sure if it'll work out. She doesn't want to fully break up with you yet, because you're the safe option. So she asks for space, which allows her to date or sleep with someone else while technically not cheating because you're on a break. If things work out with the new person, she'll come back and break up properly. If they don't work out, she'll come back and say she figured out she wants you. Either way, you're the backup plan while she tests other options. The manipulation works because it sounds mature. I need space sounds like someone doing healthy self-reflection. But real self-reflection doesn't require cutting off your partner completely. It requires honest conversation about concerns. The correct response is if you need space, that's fine. But let's be clear about what that means. Are we broken up, or are we in a relationship with distance? If we're broken up, say that. If we're together with space, what are the boundaries? Forcing clarity prevents her from keeping you as a backup while she explores other options. Real people who need space can articulate what they're thinking about and what the space is meant to accomplish. Thing number 5. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. This is the phrase cheating women use after they get caught. It wasn't planned. It wasn't intentional. It just happened. This manipulation removes agency from her actions. She's not someone who made choices. She's a victim of circumstances. But cheating doesn't just happen. Cheating is a series of deliberate choices. She chose to put herself in a situation. She chose to engage in inappropriate conversation or physical contact. She chose not to stop when things escalated. She chose to hide it from you. None of that is accidental. The just happened phrase is designed to make you focus on the act itself rather than all the decisions leading up to it. If it just happened, maybe it's forgivable. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it doesn't reflect her character. But that's false. The correct response is things don't just happen. You made choices that led to this. Walk me through every decision you made that created this situation. This forces acknowledgement of agency. She can't maintain the victim narrative when she has to list every intentional choice. Here's the reality about all 5 phrases. They're deflection tactics. Instead of taking responsibility, addressing concerns directly, and being transparent, she's manipulating you into doubting yourself, feeling guilty, and accepting explanations that don't hold up under scrutiny. The pattern is always the same. You notice something concerning. You bring it up. Instead of getting a direct answer, you get an attack on your character, a guilt trip about trust, a dismissal of your perception, a request for space that serves as cover, or a removal of agency from obvious choices. Once you recognize these patterns, they lose their power. You stop doubting yourself. You stop accepting deflection. You start demanding direct answers to direct questions. And when someone can't provide those direct answers, you understand that's the answer itself. If someone has nothing to hide, they don't use these manipulation tactics. They answer questions honestly, provide reassurance through transparency, and understand that concerns in relationships are normal and deserve direct responses. But if someone is cheating, these 5 phrases are their toolkit for keeping you confused, guilty, and doubting your own perception. Now you know what to listen for and how to respond. Don't fall for it again.